Hey, ladies and gents, we are back. It's a freak show out here in Formula One land. Guys, okay, it is the United States Grand Prix. And we've had the news. I only just talked about this on Monday. Yes, George Russell and Kimi Antonelli have now been officially confirmed as the Mercedes drivers for 2026. Well, it's about time, Mr. Toto Wolff. This should have happened, guys. This should have happened a month and a half ago. I'm being serious. This was ridiculous. George Russell has been doing some good work here with Mercedes. I'm not even a fan of the guy, and he's done some great work. I've got to give it to him. I've got to give credit where it's due. Kimi Antonelli having a good solid year for the situation he's in, okay? It's not the greatest rookie year ever, but it's a good solid year. So why not? But, well, people are going to sit here maybe think, well, it's done, yay! Lads, this took forever, and it's about bloody time. Now, Toto Wolff, why we wanted to, as quoting him in Singapore, we want to take our time and we're super close, okay? Now, I'm sorry, but that's just not acceptable. That's corporate box. Now, I understand too, he can't go around telling us all the whole ins and outs of his business. And he's damn right. It's none of our business, okay? But it's just so blatantly obvious, all right? He was waiting. He was waiting to see if the dominoes fell, differently. And that's the story no one's talking about. Now, I only did do my podcast on Monday discussing F1 news, and I even did say, right, that what's taking so long. And look, guys, by the time I've recorded, edited, produced, posted this up on the internet, well then, the deal could have been done. Because I was thinking and just hoping to dear Lord that it would have been done for the two lads here. But, well, let's get into this.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front. What a move from fifth all the way to the lead in lap one.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter. Walsh. Let's rewind a second. Do you remember it was only just a few days ago, if you've heard it, that we said on the show that it made no sense? You've got George Russell, wins in Singapore, puts it on pole, nice and easy, Japanesey, and then he goes on, boom, beautiful race win. Sort of sailed off into the sunset. Maybe you think that, maybe you don't, but it was a pretty easy win. It was a dominant weekend by Mercedes, and Toto still didn't pull the trigger. Now, normally in Formula One, if you're on the fence about a driver and if they pull out a pole and win, it's like, oh, well, that's it. Job done, lads. Come on, let's just get this done. Sewn it up in the bag. And you wouldn't blame drivers for doing that. Or, sorry, team bosses for doing that. You wouldn't blame them, okay, if they're a bit suspicious. Maybe they're just waiting for the gods to give them a message, right? You know, God, give me a sign. What should I do? And then your driver goes off, wins the race. Ah, well, there you go. Problem solved. You know what I mean? Like, that's... You know, meanwhile, other teams, you got Cadillac, Red Bull, Alpine, they're locking their rosters like it's musical chairs in hell, lads. And the big question is, why Mercedes, 8-time World Championship team, dragging its heels? This is where politics does come into Formula One, lads. You've got Formula One it's kind of like a chess game disguised as a race, right? Contracts, they're never just about speed. Of course, that's part of it. It's about money. It's about leverage. It's about image and future proofing and bringing an audience to the team. That's a huge one. It's like famous DJs out there. You have DJ Tiesto, Van Dyke, Oakenfold, maybe getting up there now, but you know, these guys brought in people because they were signing up huge deals with major clubs, major venues, because the people knew that they'd bring a crowd in, they'd spend the money, job done. Maybe you know a local DJ around your area, right? And there's a big place where that guy or girl plays. chances are they probably have a big audience on social media or wherever it is, and they can bring in a crowd. That's why they're getting the venues. Of course, you've got to be a good DJ. Of course you do. And entertainment. But if you're bringing in a crowd, think about it. If you're a venue owner, if you're a nightclub owner, if you're bringing in a small or big DJ, but John the DJ down the road, he's not the greatest, but God, he brings in a crowd. What happens for you as the boss? You're selling booze, you're selling tickets, you're getting some exposure. You can't blame anyone. I think when Mercedes hesitated, it wasn't because they doubted Russell's talent. Absolutely not. It was because there was a lingering whisper in the paddock. Would Verstappen leave Red Bull? Is it too late? Could we get him out of his contract? He's never been that happy when Christian Horner was there, but maybe things have calmed down, maybe they haven't. Even if there was a 2% chance that Verstappen might jump ship after the Christian Horner fallout, Toto, I think he wanted to keep a seat open, and that's how these guys think. Toto is not an emotional thinker, he's a strategic thinker, if that makes any sense to you. Meanwhile, Antonelli, I think, he seemed like a lock. Now, even though he didn't get signed up either, which did surprise me, maybe he is the next golden boy of Formula One, straight out of Mercedes, the junior team, the youngest podium finisher, and a pure dream. Is he the pure dream that people say? Well, that's what they're saying. But okay, they finally announced it. It's all over. It's done. It's stability. But not without question marks. No, let's talk Russell first. We're going to keep going. He had a roller coaster career, right? Great speed, results up and down. He hasn't had the best car. A bit of a reputation for a good qualifier, but not as good as a racer. But when he's on, man. And if you give him the car, this guy will get you a result. There's no question about it. And young Antonelli, he's young, he's fast, he's fearless, Maybe he is the future for Mercedes. But the pairing, I wouldn't say it's risky. It just seems out of whack. You've got one guy, I wouldn't say in his prime yet. He's getting up there, but another still learning what prime even looks like. And this is the Toto building legacy 2.0. But make no mistake about it, it is a gamble. I do think what we have here is, lads, Toto Wolff didn't sign them up because everything magically aligned. He signed up because he had to. The clock was ticking. The clock was running out. And the press were asking a lot of questions, as we know. The fans were noticing. Everybody was noticing. I mean, hell, this is my third Formula One podcast in a row that I'm going on about this. It's been blowing my mind, I've got to say. Even if they had one of the drivers lined up, signed up, sealed, delivered. Now, of course, that would create insane paranoia in the team that, so Antonelli gets the seat. In fact, I think what Toto Wolff wanted was Verstappen in and Antonelli out, because Antonelli would still be the newbie, right? In other words, no one's going to argue that that you're bringing in the number one Verstappen guy versus Antonelli. Do you get what I mean? No one's going to argue with that. Guys, and even if they did, guys, sorry now, but we're bringing in the 4-time world champion. Kimi, you've just started off. We're going to get you there. He's the newbie. So I think they couldn't sign up Kimi, because if they did, then George Russell would be going, whoa. That would cause a nuclear bomb in the team. And of course it would. It would make such logical sense, right? Whereas if it was the other way around, if they wanted Russell, they would have locked him in earlier, kept a question mark over Antonelli. Now you would understand that to a degree too. It would be harsh and paranoia for Kimi Antonelli, but he's still the new guy. So signing up Russell, leaving the other seat open, would have made sense if you're going to talk about Antonelli. What about poor Antonelli? If it was the other way around, oh dear Lord, nuclear bomb. What does this mean for F1 fans? For Mercedes, the future Formula One? It means we're kind of watching a new chapter, maybe begin, maybe continue. You could argue me on this one. It's fine. George Russell's now the elder statesman of Mercedes. He's their benchmark for now. The one who has to lead it, not just chase. You know, Antonelli, he gets to learn, make mistakes, and grow without the shadow of Hamilton over him. Now, it also means Toto's finally showing his hand. No Verstappen fantasy. And no wild poach from McLaren or Red Bull. Just kind of like a hard reset. And for once, I actually... Look, I wouldn't say I respect it. But look, Toto, good man. You did look. I do respect Toto Wolff to a degree, holding on for the Verstappen. He'd sell a lot of t-shirts, a lot of hats, a lot of jerseys, God, you name it. Bring in serious investors and sponsorship. Major, even though Mercedes don't even really need it, but still, it would be great business. Let's move on, lads. So we're at the Circuit of Americas, American Grand Prix. Great track. Now, the Drivers' Championship, let's go into this, because this is the real meat on the bone here this weekend, well, for the whole rest of the season. What's going to happen between Verstappen, Piastri, and Norris? What is going to come up next? So we've got 6 races left, 3 sprints. One of them, the sprint races, is this weekend, as many of you probably know. And a hell of a storm brewing at the top. Now, Oscar Piastri leads the way. Norris in second. And Verstappen in third. Now, Piastri, he's on, one second out. He's on 336. We've got, what is that? Sorry, guys, my eyesight's dead this morning. Norris on 314. And we've got Verstappen on 273. That's right. So... now, on paper, it's not impossible for Verstappen, but he's got to win 4 races out of this, and he's got to win a couple of sprint races. Time is ticking. Now, it could be a case where after this weekend or even the next round, well, we'll be cancelling him off the list for championship contender, or champion itself. We'll see, but let's call this what it is. This is where it becomes mental. For Piastri, it's defensive. For Norris, it's a balance. It's a balance between, I got to go a bit defensive here versus, oh God, if I go defensive, I'm letting Piastri away with this. I have to go for the win. He's in 2 different mindsets here. Now, Verstappen, well, he's not in the best situation because he's so far behind, but he certainly has less pressure on him than anybody else. All the gloves are off. It's do or die. Now, I honestly think that Verstappen would be shocked if he got even close to the lads now in points. The 2 lads have to take each other off, and I mean, they'd have to have utter meltdowns, right? Like if you're a golfer, you'd like Phil Mickelson at Winged Foot here, but you'd have to have this multiple races in a row, and Verstappen to go on and win. Huge different weird scenarios to happen here. The table here. So the season, the McLarens, especially at the start of the year, they were in a different league altogether, man. Composed, consistent, clean, and notice the dynamic between the 2, right? You know, you've got Piastri. Well, I've had my doubts now about Piastri, I have to say, but Piastri has been the stone cold assassin. But he's gone for risks that there was no need to. He fell asleep at the wheel at Baku. Now, I wouldn't say you'd forgive him, but you could understand where you're so used to battling and going for it that all of a sudden you've got this nice cushy lead and I have to slow down? What? So it caught him off guard. Now, it still shouldn't have happened. But then you got Norris, the emotional one. At Baku, he left just a lot of points on that table, man. And he's got to have some redemption for this year. He's got to make sure he can find a way through. He's got to have Piastri have a DNF. And then he goes on to win the race. He's got to have something that really pins the pressure back on Oscar Piastri. And then you've got Verstappen. He's gone from out of it to outside predator. I don't know if that's the great word for it, but you know, it's kind of unfamiliar territory for him. He'd almost be crowned champion at this stage, right? Or he'd be smelling the champagne, he'd be popping open those bottles of champagne early going, lads, this is what we're drinking tonight when we finish this off in style. This is what he's got used to for so many years. But there's a psychological freedom that comes with this now where he's under no pressure. He's got no politics, no math, just pure aggression. Verstappen can attack every lap like it's his last. And that makes him the most dangerous man on the grid right now. Now, normally, guys, as you know, I always go through the track, all right? We go through a lap of the track and we go through the most important corner and why. But this is the second time I've actually done this year, and I've never done this before because we're not doing it today. All right, we're not doing it today. We're just going to break down the championship because I think actually this is more fascinating and more important, honestly, than going through the track. Because the track can be unpredictable anyway a bit, right? We'll still go through this like this for the other next few races, but I think for America, the way that the tires, and I did this for Singapore too, you can have an important corner, but it does change depending on your tire grip, how your handling is, the way you've set the car up a bit. So, do you know what? I think we're just going to leave it off. I just want to focus in on the three lads here, all right? Now, anyway, back to Verstappen. He's been here before. He's not trailing this far, but fighting through chaos. And the thing with Max, when he's behind, he has instincts. Now, every racing driver should, right? And you'd be wondering, what the hell is he doing on the grid if he doesn't have instincts, right? He's got razor sharp, and he's got the aggression. Now, if he can nail this weekend, win the sprint, win the race, the two lads have to take each other off. And if that's the case, well, he's just really dramatically dropped the lead down by a lot. But he needs perfection. The perfection can be very, very rare in Texas because some parts of the track are smooth, some parts are bumpy as hell, and then it can affect your balance. It can affect you going for it in certain parts of the races versus, I'll back off this time. And, you know, the car has to be razor sharp for him. The pit stops have to be flawless. No contact. No penalties. And if Red Bull give him the machinery, he'll bring the fight, yeah. But the problem is every single error can hurt him. And if the McLarens finish in second and third, well, look, it still ain't any good for him. Now, Lando Norris, most definitely the most fascinating. He's close to the championship. He can smell, he can maybe even taste it. One DNF, one bad pit stop, one just bad race in general. He's cooked, man. He's cooked. It's going to put him under unreal pressure. He has to go for wins. He has to attack Verstappen. He has to attack Piastri. But he also has to attack but protect himself from Piastri. I've been in these situations. They're very, very tough. And this is what destroys some drivers, the in-between. Too safe, you lose momentum. Too aggressive, and you lose everything. Norris is stuck in the middle of this storm. And then we've got Oscar Piastri. Right, well, he doesn't need to win for the rest of the season, lads. All he needs to do is finish second or third on the podium. Lights are out. It's game over. He's champion. Now, that's a nice position to be in. A very, very nice position to be in. He still can't afford to have a DNF. He can't do that. Otherwise, Jockey Boy up behind him, Norris, catches up to him big time. So, he's in defense mode. Others are going to try and destroy him and break him. But here's the trap. When you drive not to lose, you lose your rhythm. You start overthinking corners, braking too early, second-guessing strategy. So the question is, can Oscar hold the calm while the fire burns around him? And if he starts thinking like he did in Baku, well, maybe he'll just end up in another tyre wall. So, lads, who is your money on? If you're logical, you'd put it on Piastri. Wouldn't you really? And in general, okay, let's do an overall picture of him. Overall this year, apart from a couple of mistakes here and there, in general, he's been cool and consistent and calculated. Now, if you're emotional, you bet on Norris because he's due, right? If you're a gambler, well, you'd go all in on Verstappen, right? I mean, wouldn't you? Like, here's the truth, though. Championships aren't won by the best car, even the best driver sometimes. Well, not even sometimes, a lot of the time. They're won by the driver who makes the fewest mistakes when it matters the most. Let's say that again. Makes the fewest mistakes when it matters the most. You can have a great car all throughout the year, but if you start messing up when you really need to start winning or finishing, the mistakes cost you, not the win. And here's the truth: championships are, right now, with 6 races to go, 3 sprints, and pressure boiling over, will we see that somebody crumble? Will we see who can survive the chaos? Piastri, the calm surgeon, Norris, the emotional lightning bolt, Verstappen, the unleashed beast, and one will hold it together. Whoever does, it won't just be a title. It'll be a statement, I think, especially between the 2 McLaren boys. So lads, strap yourselves in. Let's hope we're in for a whirlwind weekend, and we'll see you after the race on Sunday or Monday. Cheers, guys.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front. What a move from 5th all the way to the lead in lap 1.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter. Walsh.